Stop. Do not scroll past this screen. Look at me right now. You did not arrive here by accident. Give me just 1 minute of your absolute attention. I promise you will not regret staying here today. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your spirit to this exact intersection because you have been crying out for an answer in the dark. Something massive is shifting in the unseen realm right now. I speak to you in this moment because your soul is tired. You have been running on empty for many months. You carry a heavy weight in absolute silence. You smile for the world while quietly breaking inside. I know the secret thoughts you whisper when no one else is watching you. You look at your life and you wonder why every step forward feels so heavy while others progress so easily. You are a silent survivor. Listen closely to the deepest place of your heart. Pause exactly where you are standing. Do not rush away into the daily distraction. The message I bring to you today is urgent. You have been praying for a clear sign behind closed doors. You have spent so many seasons wondering if I even heard your broken prayers in the midnight hour. This very moment is your definitive answer. You are a chosen warrior in my house, but even the strongest warriors get exhausted. The battles you fight in secret have drained your spirit. You have been carrying the burdens of everyone around you. You pretend that you are fine every single day. You convince yourself that you must hold everything together alone because you do not want to be a burden to others. But I see you. Breathe deeply right now. Let your tight shoulders relax. You do not have to hold the universe together today. I am stepping into your atmosphere to quiet the storm. The heavy season that has exhausted your mind is finally closing. You have been sitting in the dark waiting for a breakthrough, and I am telling you that the preparation is complete. The waiting is over. I know you feel completely alone in this journey. You look around and see others moving forward easily. You wonder why your path is always so rocky. You have questioned your own worth during the long nights. You ask yourself if you arrive too late to your own destiny. You feel a quiet restlessness inside your chest, and you cannot name the source of your confusion. Lift your eyes. You are not behind. You are exactly where I need you to be. The delay you experienced was never a punishment from heaven. It was a holy protection from traps you could not see. I was shielding your fragile heart from toxic rooms you were not ready to enter. I was keeping your spirit hidden until the proper season was fully ready for your transition. You are safe with me. Let me speak softly to the part of you that wants to quit. I saw you in the bathroom when the water was running. You were crying quietly so nobody would hear your pain. You folded your body into a small shape on the cold floor. You held your chest because the agony was simply too big for ordinary words. You felt like your entire world was falling apart. I was right there. I saw you holding your heart because the pressure was too heavy. You were gasping for breath in the quiet moments of the night. You felt like the walls of your life were closing in from every side. You questioned if your prayers were even leaving the room. You felt completely invisible to the heaven you served so faithfully during your whole life. But I am here. Not a single tear fell without my careful counting. I recorded every silent sob in my holy book. The world praises your strength because they only see the outer shell. They do not know the price you pay to stay stable for them. You have been a living refuge for everyone else while you starved for comfort. You poured your sincere heart into hands that did not know how to hold it. You have been fighting an invisible war against fear. The enemy has targeted your mind with constant whispers of doom. He tells you that your current struggle is your permanent condition. He tells you that nothing will ever change for the better. He wants you to believe that your prayers hit a brass ceiling. He wants to convince you that your destiny has expired because of your past mistakes. Those whispering voices are absolute lies. I am stripping the authority of every dark force today. The static that has clouded your intuition is dissolving right now. You have been sensing a strange restlessness deep inside your chest. That is not anxiety from the world. That is your spirit recognizing that a massive shift is finally happening in the unseen realm under my command. Your soul is standing at a dangerous threshold. You feel a mix of excitement and deep terror. You fear that if you make one wrong move, everything will collapse. You worry that the financial pressure will finally break your house. You worry that your relationships are slipping away from your hands. You feel like you are walking on thin ice, and the cracks are growing wider every hour. Look at my face right now. I am the ruler of your future. I have never lost a single battle, and I will not start with yours. The terrifying moment you have been dreading for months is finally over. The threat has been completely neutralized by heaven. The storm that was supposed to destroy your entire life has run out of rain. You will not sink under this water. You have been a silent survivor for too long. You have trained your mind to expect bad news at every turn. When a good thing happens, you immediately wait for the other shoe to drop. You live in a constant state of defense because you have been hurt so deeply by the people you trusted. But I am changing your default mindset today. You are stepping into a new season. You are moving from survival into pure stewardship. The cycle of misfortune that followed your family ends with your generation. You were chosen to break the heavy chains of lack and emotional torment. It does not require your perfect strength to accomplish this grand task. It only requires your trembling obedience in this hour. Comment Amen if you feel me speaking to you right now. I want to reveal the absolute truth behind the doors that closed. You wept bitterly when those people walked away from your life. You felt completely rejected when that specific opportunity vanished into thin air. You thought I was ignoring your sincere cries for help. But I was actually pulling your feet away from a human foundation that was rotting before your eyes. If you had entered those toxic rooms, they would have destroyed your grand destiny. If I had answered that desperate prayer with a yes, you would have lost your pure soul. My silence was the highest form of protection I could give you. I was keeping your vessel clean for the magnificent pouring that is coming next. You must trust the precise timing of your loving Father. Do you feel the warmth growing inside your spirit right now? That is the quiet fire of hope returning to its rightful place. The numbness that protected your heart from heavy pain is melting away completely. I am replacing your deep exhaustion with a divine vitality that comes directly from my holy presence. You are being beautifully renewed from the inside out. The world told you that you were weak because you feel things deeply. They mocked your spiritual sensitivity and they called you fragile. But I tell you that your pure heart is your greatest celestial weapon. Your deep empathy allows you to carry my light into the darkest corners of human suffering. You are a carefully formed masterpiece of my ultimate design. Do not let the memories of past failures lock your feet in a cage. The heavy mistakes of yesterday have already been completely washed by my grace. The people who refuse to forgive your past errors have zero power over your glorious destiny. I am the only righteous judge who writes your final chapter, and I declare that you are fully clean today. The enemy wants you to remain asleep in your heavy worry. He uses the loud distractions of modern life to drown out my soft whisper. He fills your calendar with endless tasks, so you never sit still in my presence. But I broke through the algorithm today because I needed to capture your absolute attention. I needed you to hear this specific sovereign decree. Your waiting season has officially reached its final end. The terrifying moment you feared would ruin your entire house has lost its authority completely. You are standing on the precipice of a clean breakthrough that will totally redefine your future. Do not rush away from this holy alignment because the deepest mysteries of heaven are about to unfold for you. You think you are looking at a total collapse, but let me open your spiritual eyes so you can see what is truly inside your dark room. I am turning the pit of your deep despair into the platform of your greatest victory. Stay right here with me, because the absolute truth I am revealing next will change your reality forever. Come closer to my presence right now. Let me open the deepest rooms of your heavy memory. You have been hiding your wounds for a very long time, and every time someone asks if you are doing fine, you quickly put on a fake smile because you do not want them to see your internal agony. You walk through your day like everything is perfect, but the mask is getting too heavy to carry. I see the physical exhaustion that lines your face. Your body feels weak, even after a full night of sleep. This fatigue is not just physical tiredness from hard work. It is a deep weariness of the spirit that comes from fighting invisible battles every single day. Your soul feels entirely empty. You feel like a ghost walking in a crowded world. You have asked me why the path must be so lonely. You look at your friends, and they seem to have stable lives. They do not face the same constant crises that target your home. You feel like an outsider who is always watching others receive blessings while you stand in the freezing rain. You begin to wonder if you did something wrong to deserve this isolation. Let us speak honestly about your heaviest nights. I watched you sit on the kitchen floor at 3 in the morning. The darkness was thick, and the silence was suffocating your hope. You looked at your bills, and you looked at your broken relationships. You felt a terrifying knot of panic tighten inside your chest, while the entire world was sleeping peacefully. You felt like your cries were bouncing off a cold ceiling. You wanted to scream, but no sound left your throat. Like this video, as an act of agreement between your heart and mind, if you recognize that exact moment. It was the moment you reached the absolute bottom of your human strength. You had nothing left to offer. You felt completely abandoned by the heaven you loved, but hear my voice in the deepest center of your spirit. I was not a distant spectator during that painful midnight. I was not ignoring your broken whispers because I was too busy with the universe. I was sitting on that kitchen floor right beside you while you wept in secret. My holy presence was wrapping around your fragile shoulders. You were never alone. The enemy used that thick silence to deceive your mind. He whispered that my absence was a sign of total rejection. He told you that I had forgotten your name because you made mistakes in your past. I call this scheme the stolen meaning of heaven. The adversary always takes my quiet preparation and he turns it into a weapon of shame against your identity. Do not believe him. You have a pure heart that loves to give to others. You always fill the gaps for the people around you. You absorb their stress, and you carry their anxiety without complaining. But when you look around for someone to support you, the room is completely empty. People take your kindness for granted because you are always the strong one. They do not realize that you need comfort too. I chose to isolate you during this specific season. This forced separation from the crowd was not a divine punishment. It was a holy positioning for a great work that the world cannot understand yet. I needed to remove the loud static of human opinions so you could finally hear my soft whisper. I had to close certain doors because those relationships were poisoning your destiny. You thought you were walking through a barren desert, but in truth you were being shaped inside my secret sanctuary. I was testing your faithfulness in the dark before I trusted you with the light. The weapon of fear has lost its power over your life because you survived the worst of the storm. The terrifying breakdown you expected will not happen. I am your safe refuge. Let us talk about the specific financial terror that keeps your mind racing. You look at your bank account and you feel a deep sense of shame. You have worked hard for many years, but the lack never seems to leave your house. The enemy tells you that you will lose everything you built. He wants you to live in a perpetual state of survival. But I am your ultimate provider. The lack you experienced was a temporary interference. It was a season of pruning to teach your spirit total dependence on my hand. I am breaking the generational curse of poverty that bound your ancestors for many decades. You will not pass this heavy bag of worry down to your children. The chain breaks here because you chose to stand firm in faith. The harvest is arriving. Do you feel that sudden shift happening inside your chest right now? That particular warmth behind your sternum is the evidence of my holy touch. It is the quiet signal that the spirit of heavy anxiety is leaving your body. The pressure is lifting from your mind because I am taking the weight away. You do not have to fight this war with your empty human strength. You have been the cycle breaker for your family. That means you must absorb the heaviest hits from the adversary. The enemy targeted your youth with rejection and emotional trauma. He wanted to make sure you never recognized the magnificent light inside your soul. He knew that if you woke up, his kingdom of darkness would lose its grip on your entire lineage. You defeated him. I know the silence of heaven felt like a brutal rejection. You begged for a simple answer and the sky remained completely gray. You started to believe that your faith was completely useless. But my silence was actually the sound of my angels rearranging the pieces of your destiny. I was working in rooms you could not see because the timing was not perfectly aligned. You gave your love to people who only wanted to exploit your light. You stayed up late listening to their problems while they ignored your breaking spirit. They left you empty-handed when the storm targeted your own house. You asked me why I allowed these painful betrayals to happen to a pure giver. I allowed it because I was cutting away the human anchors that were dragging you down. I am building a completely new foundation for your destiny today. You cannot build a celestial palace on a rotting platform of human codependency. The people who walked away were actually removed by my protective hand. Do not run after the shadows of the past. Stop begging for validation from broken vessels that cannot even hold their own water. Turn your face to me. Do not let the memories of past failures lock your feet in a cage of regret. The heavy mistakes of yesterday have already been completely washed by my sovereign grace. The people who refuse to forget your past errors have zero authority over your future. I am the only righteous judge who writes your final chapter, and I declare that you are completely clean today. You are thinking that you have heard words like these before. You have tried many spiritual practices and you have read many books. You fasted and you prayed, but the breakthrough always seemed to slip away from your hands. You feel slightly embarrassed to hope one more time. But this season is completely different, because your human effort is no longer the engine. I am taking the steering wheel of your life away from your tired hands. You have tried to engineer your own deliverance for many years, and it only left you broken. Let go of the control right now. Allow my grace to carry your vessel across the deep water. The provision you need has already been deposited on your path. You must only be awake to recognize it. I am giving you the supernatural gift of absolute stillness today. The enemy wants your mind to remain a chaotic storm of endless tasks and desperate strategies. He fills your calendar with noise, so you never rest in my holy presence. But I broke through the noise of the world today because I needed to rescue your attention. I needed you to hear this specific decree. The terrifying moment you expected to ruin your family has lost its power completely. The trap has been sprung, but your feet were completely missed by the snare. You are standing on the precipice of a clean breakthrough that will totally redefine your earthly reality. Do not rush away from this message, because the deepest mysteries of my care are about to unfold for you now. Because I see your weariness, I have aligned an instrument of restoration for your tired soul. My child, the silence you experienced was never my absence. The enemy has been filling the space between us with constant noise. It is a static so thick that my provisions have been completely invisible to you even when they were right there on your path. I have not abandoned you. I have been preparing. And I have guided wise minds to create a provision for exactly this heavy season. I will show you exactly where to find this sacred tool before this message ends. But first, you must understand what was done to block your sight. Let us walk deeper into the light of absolute truth today. You have heard my whisper in the dark valleys. Now I need you to stand upright and hear what I am about to declare over your entire life. The fears that held your mind captive are melting away because my presence is here. Open your spiritual ears right now. I have watched you lie awake at 3 in the morning. Your head touches the pillow, but your mind refuses to rest. You replay every single conversation from your day. You search for the one thing you might have said wrong to others. You finish a great task, and you feel absolutely nothing inside your heart. You immediately look at what is still undone. You have called this habit being a perfectionist. You believe that you simply have high standards for your life. But that is not the truth, and I will not let you keep carrying that heavy lie. Hear me clearly in this quiet moment. You are running your physical vessel into the ground because you are constantly guarding a deep and secret scar from your past history. Long ago in your story, you learned that love had to be earned. You believed that you were only safe when you were useful to people. You thought you were only worthy when you were constantly achieving major things. I call this psychological trap the earning wound. It is not your true character. It is a painful scar from a moment you forgot. So all those years you thought you were lazy when you rested were not wasted. You were actually fighting a silent internal lie that told your spirit that resting was an absolute sin before a demanding master. All those times you could not receive a genuine compliment, you were not being humble. You were simply protecting a deep wound. You believed that your value depended on your labor. So today I am taking that heavy deception away from your mind. The next time you finish a task and feel that familiar emptiness, I want you to stop completely. Place your tired hand over your heart right now. Hear my soft voice tell you that you were deeply loved before you ever achieved a single thing in this world. Receive it. You do not have to earn what I freely give to my children. Your existence alone is enough to merit my complete protection. Let this realization settle into the deepest parts of your soul. Breathe out the pressure of the years. Write the words "delay is protection" in the comments below. If you accept this holy shift in your identity today, let me show you a grand mirror from my holy book. There was a young man named Joseph whom I placed a magnificent dream inside. He was pure, and he was entirely faithful to my laws. Yet I allowed his own brothers to throw him into a dark pit. They sold him into heavy chains of slavery. He cried out in the silence of that deep cistern. He wondered why I let such a terrible thing happen to him. He did not understand the painful path at that moment. But I was not absent from his suffering. I was carefully building beneath the surface what no earthly throne could ever prepare him for. The pit was not his grave. It was his necessary preparation room before the palace. My beloved child, the current trial you are facing is not your destruction. It is your ultimate shaping ground. Hold fast to the promises I whispered to your spirit in the past. Do not let the heavy darkness convince you that I dropped your destiny. The human hands that cruelly threw your body into the deep pit cannot write your final ending because I hold the sovereign pen of your destiny. I stood beside you when the world walked away. I watched you manage the disappointment when that specific door slammed shut in your face. You thought you were falling behind your peers. You believed that the delay was a sign of my divine anger. But let me reveal the hidden mechanism of your life. Every closed door was a holy barricade. I was blocking you from walking into rooms that would have broken your soul. I was directly separating your path from manipulative people who would have slowly drained your beautiful light until you were left completely empty inside. The delay was never a denial of your inheritance. It was the precise timing of a father who refuses to lose his chosen masterpiece to the traps of the adversary. Now hear the second mystery I want to unveil to your spirit. I know the prayers you have stopped praying out loud because you were too tired of waiting for the answer. You watched others receive exactly what you had been begging me for. You quietly wondered if I had forgotten your name. You started to believe the silence meant rejection. You told yourself that you were not faithful enough to receive a miracle. You believed that your past sins had blocked the windows of heaven. My beloved child, that belief is a thief, and I am exposing its dark presence right now. There is a massive and eternal difference between a purposeful delay that comes from my hand and a chaotic delay that comes directly from the enemy. My delay always brings a quiet peace, even in the midst of the waiting. His delay always brings heavy confusion and burning shame. What you have been feeling lately is not my rejection. It is the enemy whispering false meaning into my holy silence. I call this sinister trick the stolen meaning. He wants to corrupt your peace. The silence you mistook for my total absence was actually my intense focus. I was working in deep rooms you could not see with human eyes. I was quietly moving human hearts and shifting ancient laws on a cosmic timeline that you could never measure with a simple earthly clock. The delay was not me forgetting your address. It was me browning the soil for a greater harvest. So when the waiting feels completely unbearable, I want you to shift your approach. Stop asking me why I am silent during the storm. Start asking me what I am actively protecting you from. Rest in the absolute assurance that a temporary pause from my hand is still an act of my infinite love. Trust the timing of your Father. You have been running this long marathon on your own empty strength. You wake up and immediately plan your next battle strategy. You think that if you stop moving for 1 second, your entire life will fall apart. But I am commanding you to be still right now. Lift your eyes away from the horizontal problems of the earth. Look at my face and recognize my sovereign authority. I have carried you through worse storms than the one outside your window today. I did not bring you out of the wilderness just to let you drown in the shallow water. The enemies who mocked your tears will soon watch you sit at my table of blessing. Your vindication is near. Let us dissolve the final resistance that sits in the back of your mind. A part of you is whispering that these words are too good to be true for your specific situation. You think your story is too messy. You believe your financial problems are too deep for a sudden miracle. You think you are the lone exception to my grace. Your situation is completely unique, but it is not beyond my reach. There has never been a wound so deep that my hand could not go deeper to heal it. There has never been a debt so large that my treasury could not pay it in full. You are not the exception to my love. You are precisely the one I came to rescue today. So do not let the memory of the long waiting close your heart to the new thing I am doing. The preparation is finished. The walls of your limitation are trembling at my holy command. You have heard me whisper peace over your internal agony. Now hear me declare your total freedom from the spirit of heavy anxiety. The terrifying moment you feared has spent all its dark power. The threat has returned to the void, and it cannot touch your household anymore. I am aligning a magnificent provision on your path that will completely clear the remaining static from your thoughts. You will walk forward with an absolute clarity of purpose. I am raising you up to be a shining beacon of hope for other broken souls. The pain you endured in secret will become the powerful medicine you carry to heal the world. You will look back on this long season of isolation, and you will understand why every single pause was necessary. Nothing was ever wasted in my hands. Prepare your spirit to receive the grand transition that is approaching your house. The noise of the adversary is fading away into total insignificance. My voice is becoming the dominant sound in your heart. Stay right here with me for the next moment, because the breakthrough is about to break out over your life. Hear the celestial trumpet sounding in the spirit realm today. The atmosphere around your house is changing rapidly because my angels have encircled your property. You have spent too many years hiding from the imaginary shadows of failure. And while you were weeping in the dark corners of your room, I was already assembling a vast host of heavenly hosts to secure your final victory. The era of your hiding is completely finished. You are no longer a slave to the fearful thoughts that tortured your youth. The dark prison doors are melting under the intense heat of my holy glory. Look at the horizon, because a bright dawn is breaking over your financial desert, and every stream that was dried up by the heat of your trials will suddenly overflow with the pure water of my celestial favor. I am doing a new thing today. I want to help you receive my provisions. I have already prepared a beautiful path for your feet. But first, you must understand a deep mystery regarding the design of your physical mind. I work great miracles in the heavens, but I also guide the intellect of wise human researchers on the earth to build instruments of total restoration. Do not ignore the earthly tools I place before your eyes today. When I created the human brain, I hid a sacred signal at its very center. Earthly scientists have spent decades studying this mystery. They recently discovered this signal, and they call it the gamma wave. It ran completely free when you were a little child, and it allowed your soul to operate in a beautiful state of constant joy without any heavy effort or complex spiritual discipline. That frequency is precious. It allowed you to learn very quickly. It helped you trust my love purely. And when you look back at your childhood years, you will realize that this hidden wave was the exact signature of divine receptivity that I placed inside your skull from the womb. I was not speaking only of your spirit when I commanded you to become like little children. I was describing the physical signal of your brain. The enemy hates this signal. He wants to keep you trapped in survival mode. The clever adversary used the constant static of modern life and the heavy anxiety of your daily struggle to completely suppress this sacred channel inside your head. But I secretly prepared wise minds to work with sound the way I designed it. They built a special tool. It clears the dark interference. It instantly returns the original frequency to your mind. You do not have to work hard for this restoration. You do not have to earn it with complex rituals. You simply surrender your thoughts for 7 minutes each day, and you allow my perfect design to restore the divine focus that was stolen from your fragile youth. I am going to show you exactly where to find what they built. Stay with me until the end of this message. Now, let us return to the deep mystery of your pain. You have felt a quiet restlessness inside your chest for many weeks. Remember what I named that strange sensation earlier in our holy conversation today? That feeling was the unseen shift of the spiritual realm. Your eternal spirit lives outside of human time, and it always senses a grand miracle before your physical eyes can see the manifestation on the earth. That restlessness was not a clinical anxiety attack. It was not a sign of mental weakness. Your spirit was simply feeling the movement of a magnificent heavenly door that my angels are opening for your career right now. The waiting season is officially closing right now. The divine shift is happening under my direct command. You are crossing the historic threshold into your promised land today. Let us examine the hidden battle of your life. This war has exhausted your physical vessel for a long time. You have asked me why you face so many intense attacks when you were simply trying to live a peaceful existence. The desperate adversary targeted your thoughts. He did it because he was utterly terrified of the great calling I placed inside your soul. The enemy did not fight your past errors. Your past was already gone from my sight. The dark force was desperately trying to sabotage the massive financial breakthrough that I am releasing into your immediate future to bless your household. But today I strip the adversary of his illegal authority over your thoughts. The silent war ends here, in this exact hour. I am silencing the dogs of doubt today. They have hunted your confidence for a whole decade, and every generational pattern of financial lack that bound your family for 80 years is breaking under my feet in this glorious moment. You are the chosen vessel who will walk out of the ancestral prison. You will build new storehouses for the wealth that I am transferring to your custody. Look at the walls of your old limitation. They are crumbling like the stones of Jericho. You do not need earthly weapons to win this fight. You only need to stand completely still and watch the magnificent deliverance of your God before the eyes of your enemies. The people who gossiped about your downfall will soon beg to sit under your shadow. I saw you kneeling in the dust. You felt like giving up completely. You thought your small strength was not enough to overcome the giant mountain of bills, and while you were contemplating surrender, I was already pouring my unlimited strength into your fragile spirit to guarantee your victory. You are rising from the ashes of your past defeat like a shining star. The enemy wanted to paralyze your steps. He used the heavy memory of yesterday's pain. He reminded you of every single person who walked away when you needed them most. But I am wiping those bitter memories from the canvas of your mind, and I am replacing the spirit of rejection with an unshakable sense of divine acceptance. You belong to me. I am changing your spiritual identity. You are no longer a tired survivor. You are becoming a ruling steward of my eternal kingdom, and the heavy bag of trauma that you carried for 20 years is turning into a beautiful crown of pure gold before my throne. The chains are breaking. The doors are opening. Hear me, my child. I am declaring a total reversal of your fortunes. Every locked door was my holy protection. It was never my divine rejection, and I have authorized your absolute breakthrough in the highest courts of Haven so that no human hand can ever reverse my decree. The waiting is over. The harvest begins now. I receive it now. That is your phrase. You must echo it in this holy hour. Type the words, "I receive it," now, in the comment section below to seal this covenant with my presence, and let the loud sound of your faithful agreement shake the deepest foundations of the enemy's dark kingdom until every chain falls off your hands. The sovereign declaration is made, and your freedom is perfectly secure. You thought you were breaking under the heat. You were actually being reshaped into a weapon of mass restoration. Every spiritual battle you survived in silence was definitive proof that your fragile life carries an immense celestial value in my holy house. And the desperate adversary targeted your family because your light was rising too fast for his comfort. The attack is finished. I am restoring the wasted years today. I am replacing what the locusts ate from your bank account. I am turning your deepest valleys of tears into a beautiful mountain of absolute joy. And you will no longer beg for tiny crumbs from the tables of manipulative people, because I am making you a leader. You will feed nations with the overflow of my goodness. Your vessel is full. The generational ceilings are gone. Your parents lived in constant survival mode, but those old barriers have been completely shattered by my power today. You will walk through vast fields of prosperity that your ancestors only dreamed about during their hard lives on this earth. I am opening the storehouses of heaven to rain down unexpected solutions upon your current financial crisis. The dry season is dead. The terrifying moment you feared has officially ended. It resulted in absolute victory for your house. The defeated enemy has retreated into the outer darkness, but I will not let my chosen warrior walk into this magnificent new season of your destiny completely empty-handed after all your suffering. I have placed a practical provision directly on your path today. This physical tool is crucial. It will help you sustain my absolute peace. Do not look away from the earthly assistance that I arrange for your journey, and I need you to stay with me for the final part of this message, because I am about to show you exactly how to claim your divine inheritance. I have gifted humanity the wisdom to discover what I placed within sound and within the design of the human mind. I do not work only through supernatural miracles in the sky. I also work beautifully through the dedicated hands of those researchers whom I call into discovery. The brilliant minds who built this instrument were simple servants of healing science. I quietly guided their work for many decades. I want to show you the evidence of my work in the lives of my beloved children. Let me tell you what I did for one of my daughters named Rachel in California. She had sought my deep peace for many years through intense prayer and sincere faith, but her heavy mind remained filled with constant anxiety and confusing static. Then I placed this sound provision directly on her rocky path. Within 2 weeks, her marriage was completely transformed, and learning became completely effortless for her spirit. She described her daily life as a beautiful story of joy, because the blocked channel was finally open. And for others, I moved differently in their hour of need. Let us look at what I accomplished for one of my faithful sons named Michael in Texas. Michael came to this exact provision because he needed mental focus, and his children needed financial stability. He was carrying the heavy burden of a failing business that stole his sleep every night. 2 months after receiving this tool, his company grew large enough to allow him to leave his exhausting job. Hard problems solved themselves while he rested peacefully. They call this instrument the Genius Song. This is the first time I reveal its holy name to your spirit in this conversation. It is a digital audio track that will be emailed immediately to your device after you receive it. It is not a generic meditation app or a collection of random sounds on streaming platforms. Those public tracks are dangerous imitations that carry no divine power. This specific provision requires only 7 minutes of your time each day. You simply put your headphones on and close your tired eyes in a quiet room. You are not required to practice complex techniques or force your mind to become empty. You are simply surrendering the heavy noise of the world and allowing the original signal to return to your mind. This unique provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. This is a targeted rescue mission for the one I have been speaking to throughout this entire message. You are the exhausted warrior who has fought hard and prayed sincerely for many years. You wondered why heaven was totally silent about your specific financial nightmare. I speak directly to my child who has already tried everything and feels embarrassed to hope once more. The methods that failed you in the past required your intense human effort and strict discipline. This sacred tool requires zero effort from your tired spirit because it relies entirely on my structural design. I designed it to work because of my power in you. Wise men in the world charge hundreds of dollars per hour for private sessions that attempt to reach this state of mind. The advanced equipment that earthly clinics use costs thousands of dollars. But I do not call my beloved children to expensive sessions and massive machines. I place this provision within your immediate reach, specifically for this moment. You do not need to make a great sacrifice of your limited resources today. This tool requires only a small earthly exchange, which is like a tiny mustard seed of investment for the massive harvest I have prepared. I am also adding 4 bonus provisions as additional gifts to bless your entire household. These extra tools will accelerate your complete restoration. The first gift is called Genius Child, to protect the focus and confidence of your children. The second gift is the original prosperity text that helped many historical servants unlock wealth. The third gift is a guided visualization from a trusted voice to calm your thoughts. The fourth gift is a daily habits infographic for sustaining your restored signal. Where I place absolute truth, the clever enemy always places cheap imitations to deceive your spirit. There are false frequencies circulating on popular music streaming platforms under very similar names. They carry none of the restorative power that I designed for your brain. Protect your fragile spirit by trusting only the official path provided below in the comments. I do not lead my chosen children into financial risk or worldly danger. This sound provision is fully protected for 60 days. If the mental clarity and financial restoration do not come to your house, the earthly exchange is returned to your hands completely. You can walk forward into this act of faith without any fear of loss. You are covered. Take this step of obedience right now. Embrace the practical tool that I have set before your eyes today. The verified path is waiting for your spirit in the pinned comment below and in the description. This is your personal invitation from the throne of grace. Do not ignore the provision I built for your rescue. Step forward with me now. Now, my beloved child, let us set aside the heavy noise of decision for a moment. I have shown you the practical provision that I placed on your rocky path. Whether you take this step today or tomorrow, you are still my precious masterpiece. There is more blessing I want to speak over your life before this divine message completely closes. Close your tired eyes for a few seconds. Breathe out the remaining tension from your body. Let your heart become perfectly still in my presence. The terrifying moment you feared has truly passed away into nothingness. You do not have to fight the tomorrow because I am already standing there. I have secured your future against every dark storm. Repeat these holy words inside your spirit to align your identity with my truth. I am a vessel fully restored to receive what my Father prepared. I am the one whose channel is perfectly clear and whose signal is remarkably strong. I carry the original frequency that was placed in me from the beginning of creation. It was never lost. I am now operating at the exact state that heaven designed for my life. My mind is open and my spirit is calm. The constant noise of the enemy no longer has any dominion over my thoughts. I receive my divine inheritance in absolute peace today. I have become like a little child and I claim every promise made to children. The old patterns of generational failure are completely erased from your divine lineage. Your ancestors carried the heavy burden of lack, but you are stepping into the fullness of my covenant. You will see doors open that your parents never even knew existed. Your children will grow up under an open sky of absolute abundance because you chose obedience. I seal this blessing over your house right now. The spirit of heavy fear has left your atmosphere completely. You will walk in a continuous flow of divine orchestration, where coincidences are recognized as my hand. Your financial storehouses will overflow with unexpected provision because you chose to listen to my voice today. You are highly favored. If this message brought light to your weary heart, do not let it pass without a complete response. Like this video to anchor your agreement with heaven today. Share this message immediately with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in the dark. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to stay connected to my daily guidance. I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. Walk forward into your new season with absolute confidence, because the moment you feared is gone forever. My peace remains with your spirit through every single step of the journey. I love you, my child, and I am always wrapping my arms around your beautiful soul. Amen.